Question 1. Surplus lines insurance policy analysis. Which of the following is a key advantage of surplus lines insurance compared to standard market insurance? A. Surplus lines insurance offers standardized policy language across all states. B. Surplus lines insurance can provide coverage for unique or high-risk exposures that are not typically covered in the standard market. C. Surplus lines insurance is regulated in the same manner as standard market insurance, ensuring uniform protection for consumers. D. Surplus lines insurance guarantees lower premiums than standard market insurance. Answer: B. Explanation. Surplus lines insurance is specifically designed to cover unique, high-risk exposures that the standard market may be unwilling or unable to insure. This flexibility is a significant advantage, allowing policyholders to obtain coverage for risks that are not typically available in the admitted market. Unlike the standardized policies often found in the admitted market, surplus lines policies can be customized to meet specific needs. This is governed by various state laws, including Ohio's regulatory framework, which mandates that surplus lines insurers provide coverage for risks not readily available from licensed insurers within the state. Ohio Revised Code SS 3905.303905.36. Question 2. Surplus lines insurance claims settlement. In the context of Ohio's surplus lines insurance, which of the following is an important step in negotiating a settlement agreement? A. Only the insurer's interests need to be considered. B. The insured should not be involved in the negotiation process to prevent bias. C. Clear documentation of all settlement terms and mutual agreement by all parties involved is crucial. D. Settlement amounts should be determined solely by the insurer's estimation without consulting external experts. Answer: C. Explanation. Clear documentation and mutual agreement are essential components of a fair and effective settlement process in surplus lines insurance. According to Ohio's regulatory requirements, insurers must ensure that all terms of a settlement are clearly documented and agreed upon by all parties involved. This transparency helps prevent disputes and ensures that the interests of both the insurer and the insured are adequately protected. Additionally, involving the insured in the negotiation process promotes fairness and adherence to professional and ethical standards. Ohio Administrative Code 3901-154. Question 3. Surplus lines insurance claims investigation scenario type. Mr. Thompson owns a specialty manufacturing business in Ohio that recently suffered a significant loss due to a fire. He holds a surplus lines insurance policy. During the claims investigation, what should Mr. Thompson ensure to facilitate a smooth and thorough investigation? A. Only provide information that favors his claim to expedite the process. B. Cooperate fully by providing all requested documents and access to the property for the insurer's investigation team. C. Avoid direct communication with the insurer and rely solely on his legal counsel to handle all interactions. D. Delay providing documents until he receives a written request from the insurer. Answer: B. Explanation. Cooperation and transparency are critical in the claims investigation process. Mr. Thompson should ensure that he provides all requested documents and allows the insurer's investigation team full access to the property. This cooperation helps facilitate a thorough and accurate investigation, which is essential for determining the extent of the loss and the appropriate claim settlement. Ohio regulations emphasize the importance of effective communication and documentation in the claims handling process to ensure fair and timely resolution of claims. Ohio Revised Code SS 3901-154. Question 4. Regulatory compliance in surplus lines claims handling. Which of the following is a key requirement for surplus lines insurers operating in Ohio? A. Surplus lines insurers must be licensed by the Ohio Department of Insurance. B. Surplus lines insurers must adhere to the same rate and form filing requirements as admitted insurers. C. Surplus lines insurers must provide a diligent search affidavit indicating that the risk could not be placed with admitted insurers. D. Surplus lines insurers are not required to follow any specific state regulations. Answer: C. Explanation. In Ohio, surplus lines insurers are required to provide a diligent search affidavit. This document certifies that the risk could not be placed with admitted insurers operating in the state, thus necessitating the use of a surplus lines insurer. This requirement ensures that surplus lines insurance is used appropriately and only when coverage is not available in the standard market. This regulation helps maintain the balance between admitted and non-admitted markets and protects consumers by ensuring that they exhaust available admitted market options first. Ohio Revised Code SS 3905.33. Question 5. Surplus lines insurance claims evaluation. When evaluating the extent and value of a surplus lines insurance claim, which method is most appropriate for determining coverage? A. Assuming full coverage without reviewing the policy details. B. Reviewing the policy language, exclusions, and endorsements to determine coverage applicability. C. Relying solely on the insurer's previous claim settlements for similar cases. D. Ignoring the policy details and using industry standard practices. Answer. B. Explanation. Determining coverage in surplus lines insurance claims requires a thorough review of the policy language, exclusions, and endorsements. Each policy is unique, and understanding its specific terms is crucial to accurately evaluating the claim. This approach ensures that the coverage determination is based on the actual contract agreed upon by the insurer and the insured, rather than assumptions or previous settlements. Ohio law requires that claims be handled in accordance with the terms and conditions of the insurance policy, emphasizing the importance of detailed policy analysis. Ohio Administrative Code 3901-154. Question 6. Surplus lines insurance claims investigation scenario type. MS. Rivera, who owns a boutique hotel in Ohio, files a claim for water damage caused by a burst pipe. During the claims investigation, what best practice should the claims adjuster follow to ensure a thorough evaluation? A. Only consider the damage visible during the initial inspection. B. Engage with a plumbing expert to determine the cause and extent of the water damage. C. Assume that all water damage is covered without reviewing the policy. D. Ignore statements from hotel staff and focus solely on MS. Rivera's account. Answer. B. Explanation. Involving a plumbing expert is a best practice for thoroughly evaluating the cause and extent of water damage in a surplus lines insurance claim. Experts can provide detailed insights and professional assessments that are critical for accurate claim evaluation. This approach aligns with best practices for claims investigation, which emphasize the importance of utilizing outside experts when specialized knowledge is required. Ohio's regulations on claims handling encourage thorough investigations and accurate assessments to ensure fair claim settlements. Ohio Administrative Code 3901-154. Question 7. Surplus lines insurance claims litigation. In Ohio, which of the following best describes the role of legal counsel in the litigation process of a surplus lines insurance claim? A. Legal counsel is only involved if the claim amount exceeds a certain threshold. B. Legal counsel helps manage litigation expenses and ensures compliance with legal and regulatory requirements. C. Legal counsel has no significant role in surplus lines insurance claims and is usually bypassed. D. Legal counsel is responsible for determining the final settlement amount. Answer. B. Explanation. Legal counsel plays a crucial role in managing litigation expenses and ensuring compliance with legal and regulatory requirements in surplus lines insurance claims. They provide guidance on the legal aspects of the claim, represent the insurer in court, and help navigate the complexities of the litigation process. This is essential for protecting the insurer's interests and ensuring that the claims process adheres to the applicable laws and regulations in Ohio. Ohio Revised Code SS 3901.19. Question 8. Surplus lines insurance claims process. Which of the following statements best describes the importance of documentation in the surplus lines insurance claims process? A. Documentation is only necessary for claims exceeding $100,000. B. Effective documentation helps ensure transparency, supports accurate claim evaluations, and facilitates regulatory compliance. C. Documentation is primarily used to delay the claims process and should be minimized. D. Only the final settlement amount needs to be documented. Answer. B. Explanation. Effective documentation is critical in the surplus lines insurance claims process as it ensures transparency, supports accurate claim evaluations, and facilitates compliance with regulatory requirements. Detailed documentation of all communications, inspections, evaluations, and decisions helps create a clear record of the claims process, which is essential for resolving disputes and ensuring fair treatment of all parties involved. Ohio regulations emphasize the importance of maintaining comprehensive records to support claims decisions and regulatory compliance. Ohio Administrative Code 3901154. Question 9. Surplus lines insurance claims evaluation scenario type. Mr. Jacobs owns a commercial property in Ohio that sustained extensive damage from a severe storm. He files a claim with his surplus lines insurer. During the evaluation process, what should Mr. Jacobs expect regarding the assessment of his claim? A. The insurer will base their assessment solely on initial visual inspections and not require any further evidence. B. The insurer will engage experts, such as structural engineers and weather analysts, to accurately determine the cause and extent of the damage. C. The insurer will deny the claim without any investigation if it appears too costly. D. The insurer will immediately offer a settlement based on Mr. Jacobs' initial estimate of the damages. Answer: B. Explanation. Mr. Jacobs should expect the insurer to engage experts, such as structural engineers and weather analysts, to accurately determine the cause and extent of the storm damage. Utilizing outside experts is a best practice in claims evaluation, especially for complex or extensive damages, as it ensures a thorough and accurate assessment. This approach helps in determining the appropriate coverage and claim amount based on professional evaluations, aligning with Ohio's regulatory standards for fair and comprehensive claims handling. Ohio Administrative Code 3901154. Question 10. Surplus lines insurance claims ethics and professionalism. Which of the following actions is considered a breach of ethical standards in surplus lines insurance claims handling in Ohio? A. Ensuring all communications with the insured are well documented and transparent. B. Providing a fair and accurate assessment of the claim based on available evidence. C. Deliberately delaying the claims process to pressure the insured into accepting a lower settlement. D. Engaging outside experts to assist in the accurate evaluation of complex claims. Answer: C. Explanation. Deliberately delaying the claims process to pressure the insured into accepting a lower settlement is a clear breach of ethical standards in claims handling. Ethical conduct requires that claims be handled promptly, fairly, and transparently. Ohio's regulations and professional standards mandate that insurers act in good faith and without undue delay, ensuring that the insured's rights are protected throughout the claims process. Ohio Administrative Code 3901154. Question 11. Surplus lines insurance claims settlement. In Ohio, which of the following is a best practice when documenting a settlement agreement for a surplus lines insurance claim? A. Orally agreeing to settlement terms without written confirmation. B. Ensuring all settlement terms are clearly outlined in a written document signed by all parties involved. C. Allowing the insured to decide if they want to document the settlement. D. Documenting only the financial aspects of the settlement without details of the agreed-upon actions. Answer: B. Explanation. Best practice in documenting a settlement agreement involves clearly outlining all settlement terms in a written document signed by all parties involved. This practice ensures that there is a mutual understanding and agreement on the settlement details, thereby reducing the likelihood of future disputes. Ohio regulations require thorough documentation of settlement agreements to ensure transparency and legal enforceability. Ohio Administrative Code 3901154. Question 12. Surplus lines insurance claims investigation scenario type. MS. Chen operates the technology startup in Ohio and recently experienced a data breach. She files a claim under her surplus lines insurance policy. During the investigation, what should MS. Chen prioritize to ensure a thorough and accurate claims process? A. Withholding some details of the breach to protect sensitive company information. B. Providing all relevant information and cooperating fully with the insurer's investigation team, including any cybersecurity experts they engage. C. Hiring a separate investigator to challenge the insurer's findings. D. Waiting for the insurer to complete their investigation before disclosing any further information. Answer: B. Explanation. MS. Chen should prioritize providing all relevant information and fully cooperating with the insurer's investigation team. This includes allowing any cybersecurity experts engaged by the insurer to assess the extent and impact of the data breach. Full cooperation and transparency are crucial in ensuring an accurate and fair investigation. Ohio's regulations emphasize the importance of effective communication and comprehensive disclosure during the claims handling process to facilitate a just resolution. Ohio Revised Code SS 3901.19. Question 13. Surplus lines insurance policy analysis. In Ohio, which of the following statements correctly describes the importance of understanding policy exclusions in surplus lines insurance? A. Policy exclusions are standard across all surplus lines policies and do not vary by insurer. B. Understanding policy exclusions is crucial as they define what is not covered, which can significantly impact the claim settlement. C. Exclusions are not legally enforceable in surplus lines policies. D. The insured can ignore policy exclusions since they only apply to minor aspects of coverage. Answer. B. Explanation. Understanding policy exclusions is crucial in surplus lines insurance because they clearly define what is not covered under the policy. These exclusions can significantly impact the claim settlement process by limiting or entirely removing coverage for certain risks. Insurers and insureds need to be aware of these exclusions to avoid misunderstandings and ensure that claims are accurately evaluated and settled according to the policy terms. Ohio's regulatory framework requires clear communication of policy terms, including exclusions, to protect consumer interests and ensure transparency. Ohio Revised Code SS 3905.303905.36. Question 14. Surplus lines insurance claims investigation. Which of the following best practices should a claims adjuster follow during a surplus lines insurance investigation in Ohio to ensure accuracy and compliance? A. Relying solely on the insured's initial claim report without further verification. B. Conducting a thorough investigation, including site visits, interviews, and consulting experts as necessary. C. Avoiding contact with witnesses or third parties to expedite the process. D. Using only in-house resources for the investigation without involving external specialists. Answer. B. Explanation. A thorough investigation, including site visits, interviews, and consulting experts, is a best practice for ensuring accuracy and compliance in surplus lines insurance claims. This comprehensive approach allows the claims adjuster to gather all necessary information and evidence to make an informed decision. Involving external specialists can provide additional expertise and insights, especially for complex claims. Ohio regulations emphasize the importance of diligent investigation and accurate claims handling to protect the interests of both the insurer and the insured. Ohio Administrative Code 3901-154. Question 15. Surplus lines insurance claims settlement scenario type. Mr. Garcia owns a construction company in Ohio and has filed a claim for damages caused by a subcontractor's negligence. What is the best course of action for Mr. Garcia to ensure a fair settlement process? A. Refuse to provide detailed documentation of the damages, assuming the insurer will obtain it independently. B. Negotiate directly with the insurer and provide all relevant documentation and evidence of the damages. C. Wait for the insurer to propose a settlement amount before providing any documentation. D. Demand an immediate settlement without engaging in further discussions or negotiations. Answer. B. Explanation. Mr. Garcia should negotiate directly with the insurer and provide all relevant documentation and evidence of the damages. Transparency and cooperation are essential for a fair and efficient settlement process. By providing detailed documentation and engaging in open communication, Mr. Garcia can help ensure that the insurer has all the necessary information to accurately assess the claim. Ohio's regulatory framework supports fair negotiations and thorough documentation to ensure that claims are settled justly and promptly. Ohio Revised Code SS 3901.19. Question 16. Introduction to surplus lines insurance. Which of the following best explains the purpose of surplus lines insurance in Ohio? A. To provide coverage for risks that can be easily insured by the admitted market. B. To offer insurance for high risk or unique exposures that are not typically covered by standard insurers. C. To ensure uniform policy terms across all states. D. To guarantee lower premiums than the standard market. Answer. B. Explanation. Surplus lines insurance is designed to offer coverage for high risk or unique exposures that are not typically covered by standard insurers. This allows businesses and individuals to obtain insurance for specialized risks that the admitted market may not be willing to insure. In Ohio, surplus lines insurers are allowed to operate under different regulatory frameworks, providing flexibility in policy terms and coverage options. This helps to fill gaps in the insurance market and provides necessary protection for those with unusual or high-risk needs. Ohio Revised Code SS 3905.303905.36. Question 17. Surplus lines insurance claims investigation. In Ohio, what is a critical step for a claims adjuster when investigating a surplus lines insurance claim for a complex loss? A. Rely solely on the policyholder's account of the incident. B. Consult with industry experts and specialists to assess the cause and extent of the loss. C. Assume all losses are covered without reviewing the policy details. D. Avoid gathering detailed evidence to expedite the claims process. Answer. B. Explanation. Consulting with industry experts and specialists is a critical step when investigating a complex loss in surplus lines insurance. These professionals provide valuable insights and technical knowledge that can help accurately determine the cause and extent of the damage. This thorough investigation is necessary to ensure that the claim is evaluated fairly and in accordance with the policy terms. Ohio regulations require that insurers conduct diligent and detailed investigations to ensure accurate and just claim settlements. Ohio Administrative Code 3901-154. Question 18. Surplus lines insurance claims ethics and professionalism. Scenario type. MS Johnson, an adjuster in Ohio, is handling a large claim for a client whose warehouse was damaged by a fire. During her investigation, she realizes that one of the contractors recommended by the client is a close relative. What is the most ethical course of action for MS Johnson? A. Proceed with the investigation without disclosing the potential conflict of interest. B. Document the relationship and continue as if there were no potential conflict. C. Disclose the potential conflict of interest to her supervisor and ensure that an independent contractor is considered. D. Ignore the relationship and focus solely on the technical aspects of the claim. Answer. C. Explanation. The most ethical course of action for MS Johnson is to disclose the potential conflict of interest to her supervisor and ensure that an independent contractor is considered. Transparency and the avoidance of conflicts of interest are crucial ethical standards in claims handling. By disclosing the relationship, MS Johnson ensures that the investigation remains impartial and that all parties are treated fairly. Ohio regulations and professional standards emphasize the importance of maintaining integrity and avoiding conflicts of interest in claims handling. Ohio Administrative Code 3901-154. Question 19. Surplus lines insurance policy analysis. In Ohio, which of the following best describes the importance of interpreting policy language in surplus lines insurance? A. Interpreting policy language is unnecessary because all policies are identical. B. Interpreting policy language is crucial because surplus lines policies can have unique terms and exclusions that differ significantly from standard market policies. C. Policy language interpretation is only important for small claims. D. Surplus lines policies always favor the insurer, making interpretation irrelevant. Answer. B. Explanation. Interpreting policy language in surplus lines insurance is crucial because these policies can have unique terms and exclusions that differ significantly from standard market policies. Understanding these terms helps determine the scope of coverage, limitations, and the applicability of exclusions. This interpretation ensures that claims are handled in accordance with the specific provisions of the policy. Ohio's regulatory framework emphasizes the importance of clear and accurate policy interpretation to protect both the insurer and the insured. Ohio Revised Code SS 3905.303905.36. Question 20. Surplus lines insurance claim settlement. Which of the following options is the best practice for handling a disputed claim settlement in Ohio surplus lines insurance? A. Ignoring the dispute and proceeding with the settlement as initially proposed. B. Engaging in mediation or arbitration to resolve the dispute fairly and efficiently. C. Unilaterally deciding the settlement amount without further discussion. D. Delaying the settlement process indefinitely to pressure the insured into accepting the initial offer. Answer. B. Explanation. Engaging in mediation or arbitration is the best practice for handling a disputed claim settlement in Ohio surplus lines insurance. These methods provide a fair and efficient way to resolve disputes by involving a neutral third party to facilitate negotiations and reach an equitable resolution. Ohio regulations support alternative dispute resolution methods to ensure that disputes are resolved promptly and fairly, protecting the interests of both parties involved. Ohio Revised Code SS 2711. Question 21. Surplus lines insurance claims investigation scenario type. Mr. Williams, who owns a fleet of delivery trucks in Ohio, files a claim for significant damages after one of his trucks is involved in a serious accident. What steps should the claims adjuster take to thoroughly investigate the claim? A. Rely solely on the police report without conducting any further investigation. B. Interview the driver, review the police report, inspect the damaged vehicle, and consult with accident reconstruction experts if necessary. C. Assume the damages are as reported by Mr. Williams and process the claim without further verification. D. Deny the claim based on initial assumptions without reviewing any evidence. Answer. B. Explanation. The claims adjuster should take a comprehensive approach by interviewing the driver, reviewing the police report, inspecting the damaged vehicle, and consulting with accident reconstruction experts if necessary. This thorough investigation ensures that all aspects of the accident and the resulting damages are accurately assessed. Ohio's regulations require diligent and detailed claims investigations to ensure fair and accurate claim settlements, protecting the rights and interests of both the insurer and the insured. Ohio Administrative Code 3901-154. Question 22. Surplus lines insurance claims settlement. In Ohio, which of the following is an important consideration when negotiating a settlement for a surplus lines insurance claim? A. The insurer should focus solely on minimizing the payout regardless of the claim's validity. B. The insurer should ensure that the settlement is fair, reasonable, and in line with the policy terms and conditions. C. The insurer should avoid direct communication with the insured to expedite the process. D. The insurer should always offer a settlement that is significantly lower than the claimed amount. Answer. B. Explanation. When negotiating a settlement for a surplus lines insurance claim, it is crucial for the insurer to ensure that the settlement is fair, reasonable, and in line with the policy terms and conditions. This approach helps maintain the integrity of the claims process and fosters trust between the insurer and the insured. Ohio regulations require insurers to act in good faith and handle claims fairly, ensuring that settlements reflect the coverage provided by the policy and the actual loss incurred by the insured. Ohio Administrative Code 3901-154. Question 23. Surplus lines insurance claims ethics and professionalism. Which of the following practices is considered unethical in the handling of surplus lines insurance claims in Ohio? A. Providing timely and accurate information to the insured throughout the claims process. B. Intentionally misrepresenting policy terms to deny a legitimate claim. C. Maintaining confidentiality of the insured's information. D. Utilizing independent experts to assess complex claims. Answer. B. Explanation. Intentionally misrepresenting policy terms to deny a legitimate claim is considered unethical in the handling of surplus lines insurance claims. Such practices violate the principles of good faith and fair dealing that are central to insurance operations. Ohio regulations mandate that insurers act ethically and transparently, ensuring that claims are evaluated and settled based on accurate interpretations of policy terms and the facts of the claim. Ohio Administrative Code 3901-154. Question 24. Surplus lines insurance claims investigation scenario type. Ms. Thompson, a restaurant owner in Ohio, files a claim for loss of business income due to a fire that damaged her property. What steps should the claims adjuster take to accurately assess the claim? A. Approve the claim immediately without any investigation to expedite the process. B. Review the policy for coverage details, inspect the damaged property, analyze financial records, and consult with forensic accountants if necessary. C. Deny the claim initially and wait for the insured to provide additional evidence. D. Relied only on the initial loss report submitted by Ms. Thompson without further verification. Answer. B. Explanation. The claims adjuster should review the policy for coverage details, inspect the damaged property, analyze financial records, and consult with forensic accountants if necessary to accurately assess the claim for loss of business income. This comprehensive approach ensures that all aspects of the claim are thoroughly evaluated, including the extent of the property damage and the financial impact on the business. Ohio regulations require detailed investigations and accurate claim evaluations to ensure fair settlements and protect the interests of both the insurer and the insured. Ohio Administrative Code 3901154. Question 25. Surplus lines insurance policy analysis. In Ohio, which of the following is the best approach to interpreting ambiguous language in a surplus lines insurance policy? A. Always interpret the language in favor of the insurer. B. Interpret the language based on the insurer's internal guidelines, regardless of state regulations. C. Interpret ambiguous language in favor of the insured, following the doctrine of contra proferentum. D. Ignore the ambiguity and apply a standard interpretation used in all other policies. Answer. C. Explanation. The best approach to interpreting ambiguous language in a surplus lines insurance policy is to interpret it in favor of the insured, following the doctrine of contra proferentum. This legal doctrine states that any ambiguity in a contract should be resolved against the party that drafted it. In the context of insurance, this means that if a policy term is unclear, it should be construed in a way that benefits the insured. Ohio courts often apply this principle to ensure fair treatment of policyholders and to uphold the integrity of the insurance contract. Ohio Revised Code SS 3905.303905.36. Question 26. Surplus lines insurance claims investigation. In Ohio, what is an essential step for an adjuster when investigating a claim involving potential fraud? A. Immediately deny the claim based on suspicion alone. B. Conduct a thorough investigation, including gathering detailed evidence, interviewing all parties involved, and consulting with fraud experts if necessary. C. Ignore the potential for fraud to expedite the claims process. D. Rely solely on the initial report submitted by the insured without further verification. Answer. B. Explanation. When investigating a claim involving potential fraud, it is essential for the adjuster to conduct a thorough investigation. This includes gathering detailed evidence, interviewing all parties involved, and consulting with fraud experts if necessary. A comprehensive investigation helps ensure that fraudulent claims are identified and handled appropriately, protecting the interests of both the insurer and the insured. Ohio regulations require diligent and accurate claims investigations to detect and prevent fraud, thereby maintaining the integrity of the insurance process. Ohio Revised Code SS 2913.47. Question 27. Surplus lines insurance claims settlement scenario type. Mr. Carter, a manufacturing business owner in Ohio, files a claim for extensive equipment damage due to a power surge. During the settlement process, what should Mr. Carter ensure to achieve a fair outcome? A. Accept the first settlement offer without reviewing the details. B. Provide comprehensive documentation of the damages, including repair estimates and maintenance records, and engage in open communication with the insurer. C. Avoid negotiating and leave all decisions to the insurer. D. Refuse to cooperate with the insurer until a satisfactory settlement is offered. Answer. B. Explanation. Mr. Carter should provide comprehensive documentation of the damages, including repair estimates and maintenance records, and engage in open communication with the insurer to achieve a fair outcome. Thorough documentation supports the claim and provides the insurer with the necessary information to accurately assess the extent of the damage and determine an appropriate settlement amount. Ohio's regulatory framework emphasizes the importance of transparent communication and detailed documentation in the claims settlement process to ensure fair and equitable outcomes. Ohio Administrative Code 3901154. Question 28. Surplus lines insurance claims handling process. What are the roles and responsibilities of key stakeholders involved in the surplus lines insurance claims handling process in Ohio? A. Minimizing communication to streamline the process. B. Collaborating with insureds, agents, and third-party experts to gather information and evaluate claims. C. Delaying claims processing to discourage claimants. D. Settling claims without verifying policy coverage. Answer. B. Explanation. In Ohio, the roles and responsibilities of key stakeholders in surplus lines insurance claims handling include collaborating with insureds, agents, and third-party experts to gather information and evaluate claims, Effective communication and cooperation among stakeholders facilitate thorough investigations, accurate claim assessments, and prompt resolution. Insurers, agents, and claims adjusters are accountable for adhering to regulatory standards, maintaining transparency, and ensuring fair treatment of policyholders throughout the claims process. Ohio's regulatory framework emphasizes the importance of stakeholder collaboration and proactive claims management to achieve equitable outcomes and uphold industry integrity. Ohio Administrative Code 3901154. Question 29. Surplus lines insurance claims evaluation. When evaluating the extent and value of a surplus lines insurance claim in Ohio, what factors should an adjuster consider? A. Only the initial estimate provided by the insured. B. Documentation provided by the insured without further verification. C. Expert opinions, documentation, and evidence gathered during the investigation. D. Avoiding any outside opinions or evidence to expedite the process. Answer: C. Explanation. When evaluating the extent and value of a surplus lines insurance claim in Ohio, an adjuster should consider expert opinions, documentation, and evidence gathered during the investigation. This comprehensive approach ensures that the assessment is based on accurate information and professional insights, which is crucial for determining the appropriate coverage and liability under the policy. Ohio regulations require insurers to conduct thorough evaluations to ensure fair and accurate claim settlements, protecting the interests of both parties involved. Ohio Administrative Code 3901154. Question 30. Surplus lines insurance claims ethics and professionalism. Which of the following scenarios demonstrates a breach of ethics in surplus lines insurance claims handling in Ohio? A. Communicating clearly and promptly with the insured throughout the claims process. B. Deliberately withholding information from the insured to influence their decision. C. Consulting with legal counsel to ensure compliance with regulatory requirements. D. Providing a detailed explanation of coverage and exclusions to the insured. Answer: B. Explanation. Deliberately withholding information from the insured to influence their decision is a breach of ethics in surplus lines insurance claims handling in Ohio. Ethical conduct requires transparency and full disclosure of relevant information to the insured, ensuring that they can make informed decisions about their claims. Ohio regulations emphasize the importance of fair treatment and honest communication throughout the claims process to uphold the principles of good faith and fair dealing. Ohio Revised Code SS 3901.19. Question 31. Surplus lines insurance claims litigation scenario type. Mr. Lee, a property owner in Ohio, disputes a surplus lines insurance claim denial and decides to pursue litigation. What steps should Mr. Lee take to prepare for the litigation process? A. Proceed with the litigation without consulting legal counsel. B. Gather all relevant documentation, including the insurance policy, claim details, correspondence with the insurer, and any expert opinions. C. Ignore any deadlines or court requirements during the litigation process. D. Rely solely on verbal statements without written evidence. Answer: B. Explanation. To prepare for the litigation process in disputing a surplus lines insurance claim denial in Ohio, Mr. Lee should gather all relevant documentation. This includes the insurance policy, claim details, correspondence with the insurer, and any expert opinions that support his case. Comprehensive documentation strengthens Mr. Lee's position in court by providing evidence of the claim and the insurer's handling of it. Ohio's litigation process requires adherence to court procedures and deadlines to ensure a fair and orderly resolution of disputes. Ohio Revised Code SS 3901.19. Question 32. Surplus lines insurance claims ethics and professionalism. Which action demonstrates adherence to ethical standards in surplus lines insurance claims handling in Ohio? A. Offering a settlement that is lower than the insured's claim without explanation. B. Providing accurate and complete information to the insured about the claim process and coverage. C. Delaying the claims process to pressure the insured into accepting a quick settlement. D. Withholding important information from the insured to influence their decision. Answer: B. Explanation. Providing accurate and complete information to the insured about the claim process and coverage demonstrates adherence to ethical standards in surplus lines insurance claims handling in Ohio. Ethical conduct requires transparency and honesty in all communications with the insured, ensuring that they are fully informed about their rights and the status of their claim. Ohio's regulations mandate fair treatment of policyholders and require insurers to act in good faith, which includes providing clear explanations and information throughout the claims process. Ohio Revised Code SS 3901.19. Question 33. Surplus lines insurance claims settlement scenario type. MS. Rodriguez, a small business owner in Ohio, submits a claim under her surplus lines insurance policy for property damage caused by a storm. What should MS. Rodriguez prioritize during the claims settlement negotiations? A. Accepting the initial settlement offer without negotiation. B. Ensuring that all damages are documented and accurately represented in the claim. C. Withholding some information about the damages to test the insurer's response. D. Refusing to communicate with the insurer during the settlement process. Answer. B. Explanation. During the claims settlement negotiations for property damage caused by a storm under his surplus lines insurance policy in Ohio, MS. Rodriguez should prioritize ensuring that all damages are documented and accurately represented in the claim. Thorough documentation supports the validity of the claim and helps justify the settlement amount requested. Open communication and cooperation with the insurer are essential to reach a fair and timely resolution. Ohio regulations stress the importance of comprehensive documentation and transparency in claims handling to protect the interests of both parties involved. Ohio Administrative Code 3901-154. Question 34. Surplus lines insurance claims evaluation in Ohio. What role does reserving play in the surplus lines insurance claims evaluation process? A. Reserving is not necessary in surplus lines insurance claims. B. Reserving ensures that the insurer sets aside funds to cover anticipated claim payments. C. Reserving is solely the responsibility of the insured. D. Reserving determines the amount of premiums refunded to the insured. Answer. B. Explanation. In Ohio, reserving in surplus lines insurance claims plays a crucial role in ensuring that the insurer sets aside funds to cover anticipated claim payments. This process involves estimating the potential financial impact of claims and earmarking sufficient funds to meet these obligations. Reserving is essential for financial planning and regulatory compliance, helping insurers maintain solvency and ensure timely claim payments. Ohio's regulatory framework requires insurers to establish and maintain adequate reserves to support their surplus lines operations. Ohio Revised Code SS 3901.6. Question 35. Surplus lines insurance claims litigation. What should an insurer consider when deciding whether to litigate a disputed surplus lines insurance claim in Ohio? A. Avoiding litigation at all costs to maintain positive public relations. B. The complexity and merits of the claim, legal costs and potential outcomes of litigation. C. Litigating every claim to set a precedent regardless of individual circumstances. D. Ignoring legal advice and proceeding with litigation based on internal assessments. Answer. B. Explanation. When deciding whether to litigate a disputed surplus lines insurance claim in Ohio, an insurer should consider factors such as the complexity and merits of the claim, legal costs, and potential outcomes of litigation. This evaluation helps insurers make informed decisions about pursuing litigation based on the specific circumstances of each case. Ohio's legal framework encourages insurers to weigh the benefits and risks of litigation carefully to resolve disputes effectively while maintaining compliance with regulatory requirements and ethical standards. Ohio Revised Code SS 3901.19. Question 36. Surplus lines insurance claims ethics and professionalism scenario type. Mr. Smith, an adjuster in Ohio, is handling a surplus lines insurance claim for a client who has been unresponsive to requests for additional documentation. What ethical considerations should Mr. Smith take into account? A. Assume the insured is trying to commit fraud and deny the claim. B. Continue to communicate clearly with the insured and provide reasonable deadlines for submitting the required documentation. C. Ignore the lack of response and proceed with the claim settlement without further verification. D. Threaten legal action against the insured for non-compliance. Answer. B. Explanation. In Ohio, Mr. Smith should continue to communicate clearly with the insured and provide reasonable deadlines for submitting the required documentation. Ethical considerations require adjusters to act in good faith and give the insured ample opportunity to provide necessary information to support their claim. Maintaining open communication and offering assistance can help resolve issues promptly and ensure a fair claims settlement process. Ohio regulations emphasize the importance of ethical conduct and fair treatment of insureds to uphold the integrity of the insurance industry. Ohio Administrative Code 3901-154. Question 37. Surplus lines insurance claims investigation. What steps should an adjuster in Ohio take when investigating a surplus lines insurance claim involving potential fraud? A. Delay the investigation to gather more evidence. B. Consult with legal counsel before proceeding with the investigation. C. Conduct a thorough investigation, gather evidence, and consult with fraud experts if necessary. D. Ignore potential signs of fraud to expedite the claims process. Answer. C. Explanation. When investigating a surplus lines insurance claim involving potential fraud in Ohio, the adjuster should conduct a thorough investigation, gather evidence, and consult with fraud experts if necessary. This approach ensures that fraudulent claims are detected and handled appropriately, protecting the insurer's interests and ensuring fair treatment of policyholders. Ohio regulations require insurers to implement effective fraud prevention and detection measures, including robust claims investigations, to maintain the integrity of the insurance system. Ohio Revised Code SS 2913.47. Question 38. Surplus lines insurance claims settlement. Which factor is important for an insurer to consider when determining the adequacy of a settlement offer in surplus lines insurance claims in Ohio? A. Offering the lowest settlement amount possible to maximize profits. B. Ensuring the settlement amount reflects the policy coverage and the insured's actual loss. C. Delaying the settlement process to pressure the insured into accepting a lower offer. D. Offering a settlement without reviewing the claim details. Answer. B. Explanation. When determining the adequacy of a settlement offer in surplus lines insurance claims in Ohio, it is important for the insurer to ensure that the settlement amount reflects the policy coverage and the insured's actual loss. This approach aligns with the insurer's obligation to act in good faith and provide fair compensation for valid claims. Ohio's regulatory framework emphasizes the importance of evaluating claims based on accurate information and policy terms to achieve equitable outcomes for both insurers and insureds. Ohio Administrative Code 3901-154. Question 39. Surplus lines insurance claims ethics and professionalism scenario type. MS. Davis, an adjuster in Ohio, is handling a surplus lines insurance claim for a client who has been persistent in seeking additional compensation beyond the policy limits. What ethical considerations should MS. Davis prioritize? A. Deny the claim outright to avoid further negotiations. B. Communicate openly and transparently with the insured about the policy limits and the reasons for the settlement offer. C. Ignore the insured's requests and proceed with the settlement process without further discussion. D. Offer additional compensation regardless of the policy terms to resolve the claim quickly. Answer. B. Explanation. In Ohio, MS. Davis should prioritize communicating openly and transparently with the insured about the policy limits and the reasons for the settlement offer. Ethical considerations require adjusters to engage in fair and honest communication with insureds, ensuring that they understand the terms and limitations of their insurance coverage. Respecting policy terms while addressing insured's concerns fosters trust and supports the ethical conduct expected in surplus lines insurance claims handling. Ohio regulations emphasize the importance of ethical behavior and professional standards in all interactions between insurers and insureds. Ohio Revised Code SS 3901.19. Question 40. Surplus lines insurance claims process. What is the significance of effective communication in surplus lines insurance claims handling in Ohio? A. It is unnecessary as long as the claim is processed promptly. B. It helps build trust and ensures that the insured is informed about the status of their claim. C. Communication should only occur at the beginning and end of the claims process. D. It should be avoided to prevent misunderstandings. Answer. B. Explanation. Effective communication is significant in surplus lines insurance claims handling in Ohio because it helps build trust between the insurer and the insured and ensures that the insured is well informed about the status of their claim. Clear and timely communication helps manage expectations, reduces misunderstandings, and demonstrates the insurer's commitment to providing quality service. Ohio's regulatory framework emphasizes the importance of communication as A key component of fair claims handling practices to protect consumer interests and uphold industry standards. Ohio Administrative Code 3901154. Question 41. Surplus lines insurance claims ethics and professionalism. Which action by an adjuster demonstrates ethical conduct in surplus lines insurance claims handling in Ohio? A. Offering a quick settlement without thoroughly investigating the claim. B. Maintaining confidentiality of the insured's personal information. C. Ignoring the insured's requests for updates on their claim. D. Misrepresenting policy terms to deny a valid claim. Answer: B. Explanation. Maintaining confidentiality of the insured's personal information demonstrates ethical conduct in surplus lines insurance claims handling in Ohio. Ethical behavior requires adjusters to respect and protect the privacy of insured's information, ensuring that sensitive data is handled securely and only disclosed when necessary for claims processing purposes. Ohio regulations mandate adherence to confidentiality and privacy requirements to safeguard consumer information and maintain trust in the insurance industry. Ohio Revised Code SS 3901.33. Question 42. Surplus lines insurance claims litigation scenario type. Mr. Johnson, a policyholder in Ohio, disagrees with the insurer's denial of his surplus lines insurance claim and decides to pursue litigation. What should Mr. Johnson consider before proceeding with litigation? A. Ignoring legal advice and representing himself in court. B. Gathering all relevant documentation and seeking legal counsel to evaluate the merits of his case. C. Proceeding with litigation to set a precedent regardless of the outcome. D. Accepting the insurer's decision and withdrawing the claim. Answer: B. Explanation. Before proceeding with litigation against the insurer's denial of his surplus lines insurance claim in Ohio, Mr. Johnson should gather all relevant documentation and seek legal counsel to evaluate the merits of his case. This approach helps Mr. Johnson understand his legal rights, assess the strength of his claim, and determine the appropriate course of action. Ohio's legal system requires parties to adhere to procedural rules and present sufficient evidence to support their claims, underscoring the importance of thorough preparation and professional guidance in litigation matters. Ohio Revised Code SS 3901.19. Question 43. Surplus lines insurance policy analysis. In Ohio, what should an insurer consider when interpreting coverage exclusions in a surplus lines insurance policy? A. Applying a broad interpretation to maximize exclusions and minimize payouts. B. Interpreting exclusions narrowly and in favor of coverage for the insured. C. Ignoring exclusions as they are standard in all insurance policies. D. Consulting with legal counsel without considering the policy language. Answer: B. Explanation. When interpreting coverage exclusions in a surplus lines insurance policy in Ohio, insurers should interpret exclusions narrowly and in favor of coverage for the insured. This approach aligns with the principle of resolving ambiguities in insurance contracts in favor of the insured contra pro forma. Insurers are expected to apply reasonable interpretations that are consistent with the policy's language and intent, ensuring fair treatment and adherence to contractual obligations. Ohio regulations emphasize the importance of clear and accurate policy interpretation to avoid disputes and promote transparency in insurance transactions. Ohio Revised Code SS 3905.303905.36. Question 44. Surplus lines insurance claims ethics and professionalism. Which action by an adjuster would be considered unethical in surplus lines insurance claims handling in Ohio? A. Providing clear and accurate information to the insured about the claims process. B. Delaying claim payments without reasonable justification. C. Seeking guidance from legal counsel to ensure compliance with regulatory requirements. D. Denying a claim based on valid policy terms and evidence. Answer: B. Explanation. Delaying claim payments without reasonable justification would be considered unethical in surplus lines insurance claims handling in Ohio. Ethical conduct requires insurers and adjusters to process claims promptly and efficiently, ensuring that policyholders receive timely compensation for covered losses. Delays without valid reasons can cause financial hardship for insureds and undermine trust in the insurance company. Ohio's regulatory framework emphasizes fair claims handling practices and ethical standards to protect consumer interests and maintain industry integrity. Ohio Administrative Code 3901154. Question 45. Surplus lines insurance claims settlement scenario type. Mr. Thompson, a homeowner in Ohio, submits a surplus lines insurance claim for extensive water damage. What steps should the insurer take to ensure a fair settlement? A. Offering a settlement amount below the actual cost of repairs to save costs. B. Conducting a thorough evaluation of the damage, obtaining repair estimates, and communicating openly with Mr. Thompson. C. Denying the claim based on the complexity of the water damage. D. Ignoring Mr. Thompson's claim and refusing to communicate further. Answer: B. Explanation. To ensure a fair settlement for Mr. Thompson's surplus lines insurance claim for water damage in Ohio, the insurer should conduct a thorough evaluation of the damage, obtain repair estimates, and communicate openly with Mr. Thompson throughout the process. Transparency and thoroughness are essential in claims handling to assess the extent of the loss accurately and determine appropriate coverage under the policy. Ohio regulations require insurers to engage in fair and reasonable claims settlement practices, including diligent evaluation and effective communication with policyholders to uphold consumer protection standards and maintain public trust in the insurance industry. Ohio Revised Code SS 3901.19. Question 46. Surplus lines insurance claims evaluation. What methods can an insurer use to determine the value of a surplus lines insurance claim in Ohio? A. Relying solely on the insured's initial estimate of damages. B. Consulting with outside experts and specialists, gathering evidence and using industry standard valuation techniques. C. Ignoring expert opinions and relying on internal estimates only. D. Refusing to consider any evidence beyond the insured's initial claim submission. Answer: B. Explanation. In Ohio, an insurer can determine the value of a surplus lines insurance claim by consulting with outside experts and specialists, gathering evidence, and using industry-standard valuation techniques. This approach ensures that the assessment of damages is accurate and comprehensive, taking into account expert opinions and factual evidence rather than relying solely on the insured's initial estimate. Ohio's regulatory framework emphasizes the importance of fair and objective claims evaluation practices to protect the interests of both insurers and insureds. Ohio Administrative Code 3901-154. Question 47. Surplus lines insurance claims settlement. What role does documentation play in the surplus lines insurance claims settlement process in Ohio? Documentation is unnecessary and does not impact the claims settlement outcome. B. Thorough documentation supports the validity of the claim and helps justify the settlement amount. C. Documentation is solely the responsibility of the insured and does not concern the insurer. D. Minimal documentation is sufficient as long as the insured's claim is reasonable. Answer: B. Explanation. In Ohio, documentation plays a crucial role in the surplus lines insurance claims settlement process by supporting the validity of the claim and helping justify the settlement amount. Thorough documentation, including damage assessments, repair estimates, and other relevant evidence, provides the insurer with necessary information to assess the claim accurately and make informed decisions regarding coverage and settlement. Ohio's regulatory requirements emphasize the importance of comprehensive documentation to ensure transparency and fairness in claims handling practices. Ohio Revised Code SS 3901.19. Question 48. Surplus lines insurance claims litigation scenario type. Garcia, a policyholder in Ohio, disputes the insurer's decision to deny her surplus lines insurance claim and decides to pursue litigation. What factors should Ms. Garcia consider before proceeding with litigation? A. Ignoring legal advice and representing herself in court to save costs. B. Gathering all relevant documentation, seeking legal counsel, and evaluating the strength of her case. C. Proceeding with litigation to challenge the insurer's decision without preparing evidence. D. Accepting the insurer's decision and withdrawing the claim. Answer: B. Explanation. Before proceeding with litigation against the insurer's denial of her surplus lines insurance claim in Ohio, Ms. Garcia should gather all relevant documentation, seek legal counsel, and evaluate the strength of her case. This approach allows Ms. Garcia to understand her legal rights, assess the merits of her claim, and determine the most effective strategy for pursuing her case in court. Ohio's legal system requires parties to present compelling evidence and adhere to procedural rules during litigation to achieve a fair and just resolution of disputes. Ohio Revised Code SS 3901.19. Question 49. Surplus lines insurance claims investigation. What steps should an insurer take when conducting a claims investigation for a surplus lines insurance policy in Ohio? A. Delaying the investigation to see if the insured withdraws the claim. B. Gathering relevant evidence, interviewing witnesses, and reviewing policy terms and exclusions. C. Ignoring evidence provided by the insured to expedite the claims process. D. Proceeding with a settlement offer without conducting an investigation. Answer: B. Explanation. When conducting a claims investigation for a surplus lines insurance policy in Ohio, an insurer should gather relevant evidence, interview witnesses, and review policy terms and exclusions. This comprehensive approach ensures that the insurer has sufficient information to evaluate the claim accurately and make informed decisions regarding coverage and settlement. Ohio's regulatory framework emphasizes the importance of thorough claims investigations to protect both insurers and insureds and to ensure compliance with legal and contractual obligations. Ohio Administrative Code 3901-154. Question 50. Surplus lines insurance claims ethics and professionalism. Which action demonstrates ethical conduct in surplus lines insurance claims handling in Ohio? A. Delaying the claims process without reason. B. Providing clear explanations of coverage and exclusions to the insured. C. Offering a settlement below the insured's claim amount without justification. D. Denying a claim without reviewing the evidence. Answer: B. Explanation. Providing clear explanations of coverage and exclusions to the insured demonstrates ethical conduct in surplus lines insurance claims handling in Ohio. Ethical behavior requires insurers to communicate openly and transparently with insureds, ensuring that they understand the terms and limitations of their insurance coverage. This practice helps build trust and enables insureds to make informed decisions about their claims. Ohio's regulatory standards emphasize the importance of fair treatment and ethical behavior in all aspects of insurance claims handling to protect consumer interests and uphold industry integrity. Ohio Revised Code SS 3901.19. Question 51. Surplus lines insurance claims settlement scenario type. Mr. Clark, a commercial property owner in Ohio, experiences extensive fire damage and submits a surplus lines insurance claim. What steps should Mr. Clark take to facilitate the claim's settlement process? A. Delaying communication with the insurer to see if they will offer a higher settlement. B. Documenting the damage thoroughly, obtaining repair estimates, and promptly providing all requested information to the insurer. C. Accepting the insurer's initial settlement offer without negotiation. D. Ignoring the insurer's requests for additional documentation. Answer: B. Explanation. To facilitate the surplus lines insurance claims settlement process for fire damage in Ohio, Mr. Clark should document the damage thoroughly, obtain repair estimates, and promptly provide all requested information to the insurer. Clear and comprehensive documentation supports the validity of the claim and helps expedite the evaluation and settlement process. Proactively cooperating with the insurer and providing necessary evidence demonstrate Mr. Clark's commitment to achieving a fair and timely resolution of his claim. Ohio's regulatory requirements emphasize the importance of cooperation and transparency in claims handling to ensure equitable outcomes for insureds and insurers alike. Ohio Administrative Code 3901-154. Question 52. Surplus lines insurance claims process. What role does compliance with regulatory requirements play in surplus lines insurance claims handling in Ohio? A. It is optional and does not impact the claims process. B. Ensures that the insurer adheres to legal standards and protects consumer interests. C. Increases the complexity of the claims process unnecessarily. D. It is solely the responsibility of the insurer. Answer: B. Explanation. Compliance with regulatory requirements plays a critical role in surplus lines insurance claims handling in Ohio by ensuring that insurers adhere to legal standards and protect consumer interests. Ohio's regulatory framework sets forth specific guidelines and obligations for insurers to follow during claims handling, including fair treatment of policyholders, timely resolution of claims, and adherence to legal and contractual obligations. Compliance helps maintain industry integrity, ensures transparency, and promotes fair practices in the insurance market. Ohio Revised Code SS 3901.19. Question 53. Surplus lines insurance claims evaluation. How can an insurer determine the extent of coverage under a surplus lines insurance policy in Ohio? A. By denying coverage based on the insured's claim submission. B. Reviewing policy terms, interpreting coverage provisions, and assessing the circumstances of the claim. C. Relying solely on the insured's description of the incident. D. Offering minimal coverage to avoid excess liability. Answer: B. Explanation. In Ohio, an insurer can determine the extent of coverage under a surplus lines insurance policy by reviewing policy terms, interpreting coverage provisions, and assessing the circumstances of the claim. This approach involves analyzing the language and intent of the policy to determine whether the claimed loss is covered and to what extent. Insurers are responsible for conducting thorough evaluations based on factual information and policy provisions to make informed decisions regarding coverage and claims settlement. Ohio's regulatory requirements emphasize the importance of accurate coverage determinations to ensure fair treatment of insureds and compliance with legal standards. Ohio Administrative Code 3901154. Question 54. Surplus lines insurance claims litigation scenario type. MS. Rivera, a policyholder in Ohio, disputes the insurer's decision to deny coverage under her surplus lines insurance policy and decides to pursue litigation. What should MS. Rivera consider before proceeding with litigation? A. Ignoring legal advice and representing herself in court. B. Gathering all relevant documentation, consulting with legal counsel, and evaluating the strength of her case. C. Proceeding with litigation without preparing evidence. D. Accepting the insurer's decision and withdrawing the claim. Answer: B. Explanation. Before proceeding with litigation against the insurer's denial of coverage under her surplus lines insurance policy in Ohio, MS. Rivera should gather all relevant documentation, consult with legal counsel, and evaluate the strength of her case. This preparation allows MS. Rivera to understand her legal rights, assess the merits of her claim, and determine the most effective strategy for pursuing her case in court. Ohio's legal system requires parties to present compelling evidence and adhere to procedural rules during litigation to achieve a fair and just resolution of disputes. Ohio Revised Code SS 3901.19. Question 55. Surplus lines insurance claims investigation. What steps should an insurer take when investigating a suspicious surplus lines insurance claim in Ohio? 8. Proceeding with the claim settlement to avoid delays. B. Conducting a thorough investigation, including gathering evidence and interviewing relevant parties. C. Ignoring the suspicion and approving the claim without further inquiry. D. Delaying communication with the insured to see if they withdraw the claim. Answer: B. Explanation. When investigating a suspicious surplus lines insurance claim in Ohio, an insurer should conduct a thorough investigation, including gathering evidence and interviewing relevant parties. This process helps verify the validity of the claim and ensures that fraudulent or exaggerated claims are identified and addressed appropriately. Ohio's regulatory framework requires insurers to implement effective fraud detection and prevention measures, including comprehensive claims investigations, to protect against financial losses and maintain trust in the insurance industry. Ohio Revised Code SS 2913.47. Question 56. Surplus lines insurance claims settlement. What factors should an insurer consider when negotiating a settlement for a surplus lines insurance claim in Ohio? A. Offering the lowest possible settlement amount to minimize costs. B. Reviewing policy coverage, assessing the insured's damages, and considering legal and ethical obligations. C. Refusing to negotiate and imposing a settlement amount without discussion. D. Agreeing to settle the claim without verifying the insured's loss. Answer: B. Explanation. When negotiating a settlement for a surplus lines insurance claim in Ohio, an insurer should review policy coverage, assess the insured's damages, and consider legal and ethical obligations. This approach ensures that the settlement amount reflects the insured's actual loss and aligns with the terms and conditions of the insurance policy. Insurers are required to engage in fair and reasonable negotiations to achieve mutually acceptable settlement agreements that comply with regulatory standards and ethical practices. Ohio's insurance regulations emphasize the importance of transparent and equitable claims settlement processes to protect consumer interests and uphold industry integrity. Ohio Revised Code SS 3901.19. Question 57. Surplus lines insurance claims ethics and professionalism scenario type. Mr. Patel, an adjuster in Ohio, receives a surplus lines insurance claim involving a complex coverage issue. What ethical considerations should Mr. Patel prioritize in handling this claim? A. Denying the claim to avoid potential coverage disputes. B. Seeking guidance from legal counsel to interpret policy provisions accurately. C. Ignoring communication from the insured to expedite the claims process. D. Offering a settlement below the insured's expectations to resolve the claim quickly. Answer: B. Explanation. In Ohio, Mr. Patel should prioritize seeking guidance from legal counsel to interpret policy provisions accurately when handling a surplus lines insurance claim involving a complex coverage issue. Ethical considerations require adjusters to make informed decisions based on a thorough understanding of the insurance policy and applicable laws. Consulting legal counsel helps ensure that Mr. Patel correctly interprets policy terms, addresses coverage disputes, and maintains compliance with regulatory requirements. Ohio's regulatory framework promotes ethical conduct and professionalism in claims handling to protect both insurers and insureds and uphold industry standards of integrity and fairness. Ohio Revised Code SS 3901.19. Question 58. Surplus lines insurance claims process. What role does effective documentation play in surplus lines insurance claims handling in Ohio? A. It is unnecessary as long as the insurer has verbal confirmation from the insured. B. It supports the claims decision-making process and helps establish the validity of the claim. C. Documentation is solely the responsibility of the insured and does not impact the insurer's process. D. Minimal documentation is sufficient to proceed with claims settlement. Answer: B. Explanation. Effective documentation plays a crucial role in surplus lines insurance claims handling in Ohio by supporting the claims decision-making process and helping establish the validity of the claim. Detailed documentation, including damage assessments, repair estimates, and communication records, provides the insurer with necessary information to evaluate the claim accurately and make informed decisions regarding coverage and settlement. Ohio's regulatory requirements emphasize the importance of thorough documentation to ensure transparency, fairness, and compliance with legal and contractual obligations in claims handling. Ohio Administrative Code 3901-154. Question 59. Surplus lines insurance claims ethics and professionalism. Which action by an insurer demonstrates ethical conduct in surplus lines insurance claims handling in Ohio? A. Delaying claim payments without justification. B. Communicating openly and transparently with the insured about claim decisions. C. Offering settlements below the insured's policy limits without negotiation. D. Ignoring requests for updates from the insured during the claims process. Answer: B. Explanation. Communicating openly and transparently with the insured about claim decisions demonstrates ethical conduct in surplus lines insurance claims handling in Ohio. Ethical behavior requires insurers to provide clear explanations of coverage, claim decisions, and settlement offers to insureds, ensuring they understand their rights and obligations under the policy. Open communication fosters trust, facilitates cooperation, and promotes fair treatment of policyholders. Ohio's regulatory framework emphasizes ethical standards and professionalism in all aspects of insurance operations to protect consumer interests and maintain industry integrity. Ohio Revised Code SS 3901.19. Question 60. Surplus lines insurance claims settlement scenario type. MS Adams, the business owner in Ohio, submits a surplus lines insurance claim for property damage caused by a storm. What steps should MS Adams take to facilitate the claims settlement process? A. Accepting the insurer's initial settlement offer without reviewing the claim details. B. Documenting the damage thoroughly, obtaining repair estimates, and promptly submitting all required information to the insurer. C. Delaying communication with the insurer to see if they offer a higher settlement amount. D. Ignoring the insurer's requests for additional documentation. Answer: B. Explanation. To facilitate the surplus lines insurance claims settlement process for property damage caused by a storm in Ohio, MS Adams should document the damage thoroughly, obtain repair estimates, and promptly submit all required information to the insurer. Comprehensive documentation supports the validity of the claim and helps expedite the evaluation and settlement process. By cooperating proactively and providing necessary evidence, MS Adams demonstrates her commitment to achieving a fair and timely resolution of her claim. Ohio's regulatory requirements emphasize the importance of cooperation, transparency, and thoroughness in claims handling to ensure equitable outcomes for insureds and uphold industry standards. Ohio Administrative Code 3901154. Question 61. Surplus lines insurance claims evaluation. How does an insurer determine coverage and liability in a surplus lines insurance claim in Ohio? A. By denying coverage based on the insured's claim submission. B. Reviewing policy terms, conducting investigations, and evaluating evidence. C. Relying solely on the insured's description of the incident. D. Offering minimal coverage to avoid excess liability. Answer: B. Explanation. In Ohio, an insurer determines coverage and liability in a surplus lines insurance claim by reviewing policy terms, conducting investigations, and evaluating evidence. This process involves analyzing the circumstances of the claim, gathering relevant information, and applying policy provisions to determine whether the claimed loss is covered and to what extent. Insurers are responsible for conducting thorough evaluations based on factual evidence and policy terms to make fair and informed decisions regarding coverage and claims settlement. Ohio's regulatory framework emphasizes the importance of diligent claims evaluation to protect both insurers and insureds and ensure compliance with legal and contractual obligations. Ohio Administrative Code 3901154. Question 62. Surplus lines insurance claims settlement. What considerations should an insurer take into account when negotiating a settlement for a surplus lines insurance claim in Ohio? A. Offering the highest settlement amount to expedite the claims process. B. Reviewing policy coverage, assessing damages, and engaging in fair and reasonable negotiations with the insured. C. Refusing to negotiate and imposing a settlement amount without discussion. D. Agreeing to settle the claim without verifying the insured's loss. Answer: B. Explanation. When negotiating a settlement for a surplus lines insurance claim in Ohio, an insurer should review policy coverage, assess damages, and engage in fair and reasonable negotiations with the insured. This approach ensures that the settlement amount reflects the insured's actual loss and aligns with the terms and conditions of the insurance policy. Insurers are required to conduct negotiations in good faith, consider all relevant factors, and seek mutually acceptable agreements that comply with regulatory standards and ethical practices. Ohio's insurance regulations emphasize the importance of transparency and equitable claims settlement practices to protect consumer interests and uphold industry integrity. Ohio Revised Code SS 3901.19. Question 63. Surplus lines insurance claims litigation scenario type. Mr. Lee, a policyholder in Ohio, disputes the insurer's denial of his surplus lines insurance claim and decides to pursue litigation. What factors should Mr. Lee consider before proceeding with litigation? A. Ignoring legal advice and representing himself in court to save costs. B. Gathering all relevant documentation, seeking legal counsel, and evaluating the strength of his case. C. Proceeding with litigation without preparing evidence. D. Accepting the insurer's decision and withdrawing the claim. Answer: B. Explanation. Before proceeding with litigation against the insurer's denial of his surplus lines insurance claim in Ohio, Mr. Lee should gather all relevant documentation, seek legal counsel, and evaluate the strength of his case. This preparation allows Mr. Lee to understand his legal rights, assess the merits of his claim, and determine the most effective strategy for pursuing his case in court. Ohio's legal system requires parties to present compelling evidence and adhere to procedural rules during litigation to achieve a fair and just resolution of disputes. Ohio Revised Code SS 3901.19. Question 64. Surplus lines insurance claims investigation. What are the key responsibilities of an insurer during the investigation of a surplus lines insurance claim in Ohio? A. Ignoring evidence provided by the insured to expedite the claims process. B. Gathering relevant evidence, interviewing witnesses, and evaluating policy terms and exclusions. C. Delaying the investigation to see if the insured withdraws the claim. D. Proceeding with a settlement offer without conducting an investigation. Answer: B. Explanation. In Ohio, an insurer's key responsibilities during the investigation of a surplus lines insurance claim include gathering relevant evidence, interviewing witnesses, and evaluating policy terms and exclusions. This process ensures that the insurer has sufficient information to assess the validity of the claim, determine coverage, and make informed decisions regarding claims handling. Ohio's regulatory framework emphasizes thorough and fair claims investigations to protect the interests of insureds and ensure compliance with legal and contractual obligations. Ohio Administrative Code 3901-154. Question 65. Surplus lines insurance claims ethics and professionalism. Which action demonstrates ethical conduct in surplus lines insurance claims handling in Ohio? A. Delaying claim payments without justification. B. Providing clear and timely communication to the insured regarding claim decisions. C. Offering settlements below the insured's policy limits without negotiation. D. Ignoring requests for updates from the insured during the claims process. Answer. B. Explanation. Providing clear and timely communication to the insured regarding claim decisions demonstrates ethical conduct in surplus lines insurance claims handling in Ohio. Ethical behavior requires insurers to keep policyholders informed throughout the claims process, including explaining coverage decisions, settlement offers, and any necessary documentation. Open communication fosters trust, enhances transparency, and ensures that insureds understand their rights and obligations under the insurance policy. Ohio's regulatory standards emphasize the importance of ethical practices and professionalism in claims handling to protect consumer interests and uphold industry integrity. Ohio Revised Code SS 3901.19. Question 66. Surplus lines insurance claims settlement scenario type. MS. Davis, a policyholder in Ohio, faces a complex surplus lines insurance claim involving multiple parties. What steps should MS. Davis take to facilitate the claims settlement process? A. Accepting the insurer's first settlement offer to expedite resolution. B. Collaborating with the insurer, providing all necessary documentation and considering mediation if necessary. C. Delaying communication with the insurer to see if they offer a higher settlement amount. D. Ignoring requests from the insurer for additional information. Answer. B. Explanation. To facilitate the surplus lines insurance claims settlement process in Ohio MS. Davis should collaborate with the insurer, provide all necessary documentation, and consider mediation if necessary. Complex claims often require cooperation between the insured and the insurer to resolve disputes and reach a fair settlement agreement. By engaging in open communication, providing comprehensive documentation, and exploring alternative dispute resolution options like mediation MS. Davis demonstrates her commitment to achieving a satisfactory resolution of her claim. Ohio's regulatory framework encourages collaborative efforts and transparent practices in claims handling to ensure equitable outcomes for policyholders and uphold industry standards. Ohio Administrative Code 3901-154. Question 67. Surplus lines insurance policy analysis. What are the key considerations for an insurer when interpreting policy language and exclusions in a surplus lines insurance policy in Ohio? A. Ignoring policy language and relying on verbal agreements with insureds. B. Conducting a thorough analysis of policy terms, definitions, and exclusions. C. Delaying interpretation to see if the insured withdraws the claim. D. Accepting the insured's interpretation of policy language without verification. Answer. B. Explanation. In Ohio, when interpreting policy language and exclusions in a surplus lines insurance policy, insurers should conduct a thorough analysis of policy terms, definitions, and exclusions. This process involves carefully reviewing the language of the policy to determine the scope of coverage and any limitations or exclusions that may apply to the claim. Insurers are responsible for interpreting policy provisions accurately and in accordance with legal standards and industry practices to ensure fair and consistent claims handling. Ohio's regulatory requirements emphasize the importance of clear and precise policy interpretation to avoid disputes and provide clarity to insureds regarding their coverage. Ohio Administrative Code 3901-154. Question 68. Surplus lines insurance claims ethics and professionalism. Which action demonstrates ethical conduct in negotiating a settlement for a surplus lines insurance claim in Ohio? A. Pressuring the insured to accept a settlement offer without explanation. B. Engaging in fair and reasonable negotiations to reach a mutually acceptable settlement. C. Offering a settlement significantly lower than the insured's documented damages. D. Ignoring the insured's requests for updates during the negotiation process. Answer. B. Explanation. Engaging in fair and reasonable negotiations to reach a mutually acceptable settlement demonstrates ethical conduct in surplus lines insurance claims handling in Ohio. Ethical behavior requires insurers to consider the insured's losses, policy coverage, and other relevant factors when negotiating a settlement offer. Fair negotiations involve open communication, transparency about the rationale behind settlement offers, and willingness to adjust terms based on new information or evidence provided by the insured. Ohio's regulatory standards emphasize ethical practices and professionalism in claims settlement to protect insured's interests and maintain public trust in the insurance industry. Ohio Revised Code SS 3901.19. Question 69. Surplus lines insurance claims litigation scenario type. Mr. Thompson, a policyholder in Ohio, disagrees with the insurer's decision to deny coverage under his surplus lines insurance policy and decides to pursue litigation. What legal considerations should Mr. Thompson keep in mind before proceeding with litigation? A. Hiring legal counsel and preparing a case without reviewing policy documents. B. Gathering all relevant documentation, reviewing policy terms and understanding procedural requirements for litigation. C. Proceeding with litigation without gathering evidence to support his claim. D. Accepting the insurer's decision and withdrawing the claim. Answer: B. Explanation. Before proceeding with litigation against the insurer's denial of coverage under his surplus lines insurance policy in Ohio, Mr. Thompson should gather all relevant documentation, review policy terms, and understand procedural requirements for litigation. This preparation allows Mr. Thompson to present a strong case supported by evidence and legal arguments during litigation. Ohio's legal system requires parties to adhere to procedural rules, present credible evidence, and argue their case effectively to achieve a fair and just resolution in court. Understanding these legal considerations helps Mr. Thompson navigate the litigation process and protect his rights as a policyholder. Ohio Revised Code SS 3901.19. Question 70. Surplus lines insurance claims handling process. What are the key roles and responsibilities of a surplus lines claims adjuster in Ohio? A. Only reviewing claims submitted by insureds without further investigation. B. Conducting thorough investigations, evaluating policy coverage, and negotiating settlements. C. Delaying claims processing to increase insurer profitability. D. Avoiding communication with insureds to expedite claims handling. Answer: B. Explanation. In Ohio, a surplus lines claims adjuster's key roles and responsibilities include conducting thorough investigations, evaluating policy coverage, and negotiating settlements. Adjusters are tasked with gathering relevant evidence, assessing damages, and applying policy terms to determine coverage and settlement amounts. Effective communication with insureds and other stakeholders is crucial throughout the claims handling process to ensure transparency and facilitate fair resolutions. Ohio's regulatory framework emphasizes the importance of professional conduct and ethical behavior among claims adjusters to protect consumer interests and uphold industry standards. Ohio Administrative Code 3901-154. Question 71. Surplus lines insurance claims settlement. How does compliance with regulatory requirements contribute to fair claims settlement practices in surplus lines insurance in Ohio? A. It imposes unnecessary burdens on insurers without benefiting insureds. B. Ensures adherence to legal standards, promotes transparency, and protects insured's rights. C. Allows insurers to avoid claims settlement altogether. D. Increases settlement amounts to avoid litigation. Answer: B. Explanation. Compliance with regulatory requirements contributes to fair claims settlement practices in surplus lines insurance in Ohio by ensuring adherence to legal standards, promoting transparency, and protecting insured's rights. Regulatory guidelines outline procedures that insurers must follow during claims handling to prevent unfair practices and maintain industry integrity. Compliance fosters trust between insurers and insureds, enhances consumer protection, and supports equitable outcomes in claims resolution. Ohio's regulatory framework aims to balance insurer interests with consumer rights by establishing clear standards for claims handling and encouraging ethical conduct throughout the insurance process. Ohio Revised Code SS 3901.19. Question 72. Surplus lines insurance claims ethics and professionalism scenario type. MS. Taylor, an insurance claims adjuster in Ohio, discovers potential fraud in a surplus lines insurance claim. What ethical considerations should MS Taylor prioritize in handling this situation? A. Ignoring the fraud to avoid complications in claims processing. B. Conducting a thorough investigation, documenting findings, and reporting suspicions to appropriate authorities. C. Accepting the claim without further inquiry to avoid conflict with the insured. D. Delaying communication with the insured to see if they withdraw the claim. Answer: B. Explanation. In Ohio, when faced with potential fraud in a surplus lines insurance claim, MS Taylor should prioritize conducting a thorough investigation, documenting findings, and reporting suspicions to appropriate authorities. Ethical considerations require claims adjusters to uphold the integrity of the insurance process by identifying and addressing fraudulent activities promptly. Reporting suspicions of fraud helps protect insurer assets, prevent future fraudulent claims, and maintain trust in the insurance industry. Ohio's regulatory framework emphasizes ethical conduct and professionalism among insurance professionals to safeguard consumer interests and uphold industry standards of fairness and transparency. Ohio Administrative Code 3901154. Question 73. Surplus lines insurance claims evaluation. What factors should an insurer consider when determining the value of a surplus lines insurance claim in Ohio? A. Ignoring the insured's documentation and relying on estimates. B. Reviewing policy limits, assessing damages, and considering applicable deductibles. C. Delaying the evaluation process to minimize claim payouts. D. Offering a settlement without verifying the insured's loss. Answer: B. Explanation. When determining the value of a surplus lines insurance claim in Ohio, insurers should review policy limits, assess damages, and consider applicable deductibles. This process involves analyzing the insured's documentation, including repair estimates and other evidence, to accurately evaluate the extent of the loss covered under the policy. Insurers are responsible for conducting thorough evaluations based on factual information and policy terms to ensure fair and equitable claims settlements. Ohio's regulatory framework emphasizes transparency and fairness in claims handling to protect insured's interests and maintain industry standards. Ohio Administrative Code 3901154. Question 74. Surplus lines insurance claims litigation. What steps should an insurer take to prepare for potential litigation in response to a surplus lines insurance claim dispute in Ohio? A. Ignoring legal counsel's advice and proceeding with settlement offers. B. Gathering all relevant documentation, consulting legal counsel, and preparing a defense strategy. C. Delaying communication with the insured to discourage litigation. D. Offering a settlement below the insured's expectations to avoid litigation. Answer: B. Explanation. To prepare for potential litigation in response to a surplus lines insurance claim dispute in Ohio, insurers should gather all relevant documentation, consult legal counsel, and prepare a defense strategy. This proactive approach allows insurers to assess the merits of the claim, review policy terms, and develop a comprehensive response to potential legal challenges. Legal counsel provides guidance on procedural requirements, evidentiary standards, and strategies for presenting a strong defense in court. Ohio's legal system requires insurers to uphold their obligations under insurance policies and defend against claims disputes effectively to protect insurer interests and ensure fair outcomes. Ohio Revised Code SS 3901.19. Question 75. Surplus lines insurance claims ethics and professionalism scenario type. Mr. Johnson, an insurance claims adjuster in Ohio, encounters a conflict of interest while handling a surplus lines insurance claim. How should Mr. Johnson address this ethical dilemma? A. Ignoring the conflict to expedite claims processing. B. Disclosing the conflict to relevant parties and recusing himself from handling the claim. C. Proceeding with the claim handling without disclosing the conflict. D. Delaying communication with the insured to resolve the conflict internally. Answer: B. Explanation. When facing a conflict of interest while handling a surplus lines insurance claim in Ohio, Mr. Johnson should disclose the conflict to relevant parties and recuse himself from handling the claim. Ethical considerations require claims adjusters to maintain impartiality, avoid potential biases, and act in the best interests of insureds and insurers alike. Disclosing conflicts of interest promotes transparency, preserves trust in the claims handling process, and ensures fair treatment of all parties involved. Ohio's regulatory framework emphasizes ethical conduct and professionalism among insurance professionals to uphold industry standards and protect consumer interests. Ohio Revised Code SS 3901.19. Question 76. Surplus lines insurance claims investigation. What are the benefits of utilizing outside experts and specialists in the investigation of surplus lines insurance claims in Ohio? A. Avoiding additional expenses associated with outside expertise. B. Enhancing the accuracy and thoroughness of claim investigations. C. Delaying the investigation process to minimize claim payouts. D. Ignoring the opinions and recommendations of outside experts. Answer: B. Explanation. In Ohio, utilizing outside experts and specialists in the investigation of surplus lines insurance claims enhances the accuracy and thoroughness of claim investigations. Experts such as engineers, appraisers, and forensic accountants provide specialized knowledge and skills to assess complex claims accurately. Their expertise helps insurers gather relevant evidence, evaluate damages, and make informed decisions regarding coverage and settlement. Ohio's regulatory framework encourages insurers to utilize outside experts responsibly to ensure fair and equitable claims handling, protect consumer interests, and uphold industry standards of professionalism. Ohio Administrative Code 3901-154. Question 77. Surplus lines insurance claims settlement. How does effective communication contribute to successful claims settlement in surplus lines insurance in Ohio? A. Limiting communication with insureds to minimize claim settlements. B. Facilitating mutual understanding, cooperation, and prompt resolution of claims. C. Delaying communication to avoid documenting settlement negotiations. D. Offering settlements without discussing terms with insureds. Answer: B. Explanation. Effective communication contributes to successful claims settlement in surplus lines insurance in Ohio by facilitating mutual understanding, cooperation, and prompt resolution of claims. Clear and transparent communication between insurers and insureds helps manage expectations, clarify policy coverage, and address concerns throughout the claims process. It allows parties to discuss settlement options, negotiate terms, and reach agreements that align with policy provisions and legal requirements. Ohio's regulatory standards emphasize the importance of open communication in claims handling to build trust, ensure fairness, and achieve satisfactory outcomes for all parties involved. Ohio Revised Code SS 3901.19. Question 78. Surplus lines insurance claims ethics and professionalism scenario type. MS. Parker, an insurance claims manager in Ohio, receives a surplus lines insurance claim involving potential conflict of interest within her team. How should MS. Parker address this ethical challenge? A. Ignoring the conflicts and proceeding with claims handling. B. Implementing policies to identify and manage conflicts of interest transparently. C. Delaying communication with the insured to resolve conflicts internally. D. Proceeding with claims settlement without disclosing conflicts of interest. Answer: B. Explanation. When faced with potential conflicts of interest within her team while handling a surplus lines insurance claim in Ohio, MS. Parker should implement policies to identify and manage conflicts of interest transparently. Ethical considerations require claims managers to maintain impartiality, avoid biases, and ensure fair treatment of insureds. Implementing clear guidelines and procedures helps mitigate conflicts of interest, promote accountability, and uphold ethical standards in claims handling. Ohio's regulatory framework emphasizes the importance of ethical conduct and professionalism among insurance professionals to protect consumer interests and maintain industry integrity. Ohio Revised Code SS 3901.19. Question 79. Surplus lines insurance claims evaluation. What are the steps insurers should take to ensure compliance with regulatory requirements in surplus lines insurance claims evaluation in Ohio? A. Ignoring regulatory guidelines to expedite claims processing. B. Adhering to procedural requirements, documenting decisions, and maintaining transparency. C. Delaying evaluation to discourage claimants. D. Offering settlements without verifying policy coverage. Answer: B. Explanation. In Ohio, insurers must ensure compliance with regulatory requirements in surplus lines insurance claims evaluation by adhering to procedural requirements, documenting decisions, and maintaining transparency. Compliance involves following state laws and regulations that govern claims handling practices, including fair treatment of policyholders, adherence to policy terms, and accurate assessment of claims. Insurers are responsible for documenting their evaluation process, including the rationale behind claim decisions, to demonstrate compliance with regulatory standards. Ohio's regulatory framework aims to protect consumer interests, uphold industry integrity, and ensure equitable treatment of insureds in the claims handling process. Ohio Administrative Code 3901154. Question 80. Surplus lines insurance claims litigation. How does effective management of litigation expenses benefit insurers in surplus lines insurance claims in Ohio? A. Increasing litigation expenses to discourage insureds from pursuing claims. B. Managing costs efficiently, minimizing legal fees and achieving cost-effective resolutions. C. Delaying litigation to avoid settlement payments. D. Settling claims without legal representation to save costs. Answer: B. Explanation. Effective management of litigation expenses benefits insurers in surplus lines insurance claims in Ohio by managing costs efficiently, minimizing legal fees, and achieving cost-effective resolutions. Insurers can reduce expenses associated with litigation by implementing strategies such as early case assessment, alternative dispute resolution methods, and negotiation of reasonable settlements. Managing litigation costs allows insurers to allocate resources effectively, protect profitability, and maintain competitive pricing in the marketplace. Ohio's regulatory framework encourages insurers to adopt responsible practices for managing litigation expenses to ensure fair and timely resolution of claims disputes. Ohio Revised Code SS 3901.19. Question 81. Surplus lines insurance claims ethics and professionalism scenario type. Mr. Adams, an insurance claims adjuster in Ohio, receives a surplus lines insurance claim involving potential ethical dilemmas. How should Mr. Adams approach this situation? A. Ignoring ethical considerations to expedite claims processing. B. Consulting ethical guidelines, seeking guidance from supervisors, and acting in the insured's best interests. C. Delaying communication with the insured to avoid addressing ethical concerns. D. Proceeding with claims settlement without verifying policy coverage. Answer: B. Explanation. When faced with potential ethical dilemmas while handling a surplus lines insurance claim in Ohio, Mr. Adams should consult ethical guidelines, seek guidance from supervisors, and act in the insured's best interests. Ethical considerations require claims adjusters to uphold integrity, fairness, and transparency in claims handling practices. Consulting ethical standards and seeking advice from supervisors help mitigate conflicts, protect consumer interests, and uphold industry credibility. Ohio's regulatory framework emphasizes the importance of ethical conduct and professionalism among insurance professionals to maintain public trust and ensure equitable treatment of policyholders. Ohio Administrative Code 3901154. Question 82. Surplus lines insurance claims settlement. What factors should insurers consider when negotiating a settlement for a surplus lines insurance claim in Ohio? A. Ignoring the insured's documented damages to minimize settlement amounts. B. Evaluating policy coverage, assessing liability, and considering insured's documented losses. C. Delaying settlement negotiations to discourage insureds from pursuing claims. D. Offering settlements without discussing terms with insureds. Answer: B. Explanation. When negotiating a settlement for a surplus lines insurance claim in Ohio, insurers should consider evaluating policy coverage, assessing liability, and considering insured's documented losses. This process involves reviewing policy terms, examining evidence of damages, and calculating fair settlement amounts that align with policy provisions and legal obligations. Effective negotiation requires insurers to communicate openly with insureds, address their concerns, and strive for mutually agreeable outcomes. Ohio's regulatory framework encourages insurers to conduct fair and transparent settlement negotiations to protect insured's interests and uphold industry standards. Ohio Revised Code SS 3901.19. Question 83. Surplus lines insurance claims ethics and professionalism. How does maintaining confidentiality and privacy requirements benefit insurers in surplus lines insurance claims handling in Ohio? A. Sharing confidential information with unauthorized parties to expedite claims processing. B. Protecting sensitive information, respecting insured's privacy rights, and complying with legal requirements. C. Ignoring privacy concerns to avoid documenting claims activities. D. Offering settlements without verifying insured's identity. Answer: B. Explanation. Maintaining confidentiality and privacy requirements benefits insurers in surplus lines insurance claims handling in Ohio by protecting sensitive information, respecting insured's privacy rights, and complying with legal requirements. Insurers are obligated to safeguard confidential data, such as personal information and claims details, to prevent unauthorized access and potential breaches. Compliance with privacy laws and regulations enhances trust between insurers and insureds, mitigates risks of identity theft or fraud, and ensures confidentiality throughout the claims process. Ohio's regulatory framework emphasizes the importance of data security, confidentiality, and privacy protections to uphold consumer trust and maintain industry credibility. Ohio Revised Code SS 3901.19. Question 84. Surplus lines insurance claims litigation scenario type. MS Martinez, an insurance claims manager in Ohio, faces a surplus lines insurance claim dispute that may lead to litigation. What steps should MS Martinez take to handle this situation effectively, ignoring legal counsel's advice and proceeding with settlement negotiations? B. Consulting legal counsel, gathering evidence, and preparing a litigation strategy. C. Delaying communication with the insured to avoid litigation. D. Settling the claim without reviewing policy terms. Answer: B. Explanation. To handle a surplus lines insurance claim dispute that may lead to litigation effectively in Ohio, MS Martinez should consult legal counsel, gather evidence, and prepare a litigation strategy. Legal counsel provides guidance on legal rights, procedural requirements, and strategies for defending against claims disputes in court. Gathering relevant evidence, reviewing policy terms, and preparing a comprehensive litigation strategy enable insurers to present a strong defense, protect insurer interests, and achieve favorable outcomes in litigation. Ohio's legal system emphasizes the importance of thorough preparation and adherence to legal standards in resolving claims disputes through litigation to ensure fair and equitable treatment of all parties involved. Ohio Revised Code SS 3901.19. Question 85. Surplus lines insurance claims investigation. What are the key considerations for insurers when interviewing insureds, witnesses, and other parties involved in a surplus lines insurance claim in Ohio? A. Conducting interviews without documenting statements to expedite claims processing. B. Obtaining accurate and detailed statements, maintaining objectivity, and verifying information. C. Delaying interviews to discourage claimants from pursuing claims. D. Accepting statements without verifying their accuracy. Answer: B. Explanation. In Ohio, insurers should consider obtaining accurate and detailed statements, maintaining objectivity, and verifying information when interviewing insureds, witnesses, and other parties involved in a surplus lines insurance claim. Effective interviews help insurers gather essential facts, assess claim validity, and determine coverage under policy terms. Insurers are responsible for documenting statements, conducting thorough investigations, and ensuring fairness throughout the claims handling process. Ohio's regulatory framework emphasizes the importance of objective and meticulous claims investigation to protect insured's rights, prevent fraud, and uphold industry standards. Ohio Administrative Code 3901-154. Question 86. Surplus lines insurance claims ethics and professionalism. How does handling conflicts of interest appropriately benefit insurers in surplus lines insurance claims handling in Ohio? A. Ignoring conflicts of interest to expedite claims processing. B. Identifying, disclosing, and managing conflicts of interest to ensure impartial claims handling. C. Delaying communication with the insured to avoid addressing conflicts of interest. D. Settling claims without verifying policy coverage. Answer: B. Explanation. Handling conflicts of interest appropriately benefits insurers in surplus lines insurance claims handling in Ohio by identifying, disclosing, and managing conflicts of interest to ensure impartial claims handling. Ethical considerations require claims professionals to maintain objectivity, avoid biases, and act in the best interests of insureds and insurers alike. Disclosing conflicts of interest promotes transparency, mitigates risks of unfair practices, and enhances trust between insurers and insureds. Ohio's regulatory framework emphasizes ethical conduct, professionalism, and conflict management strategies to uphold industry integrity and protect consumer interests. Ohio Revised Code SS 3901.19. Question 87. Surplus lines insurance claims settlement scenario type. Mr. Wilson, an insurance claims adjuster in Ohio, encounters a surplus lines insurance claim where the insured's damages exceed policy limits. How should Mr. Wilson approach the settlement negotiation? A. Denying the claim due to policy limits without further negotiation. B. Communicating policy limits to the insured, exploring settlement options, and explaining the rationale behind settlement offers. C. Delaying communication with the insured to avoid addressing policy limits. D. Offering settlements without verifying the insured's documented damages. Answer: B. Explanation. When facing a surplus lines insurance claim where insured damages exceed policy limits in Ohio, Mr. Wilson should communicate policy limits to the insured, explore settlement options, and explain the rationale behind settlement offers. Effective communication helps manage insured's expectations, clarify coverage limitations, and seek mutually agreeable resolutions within policy constraints. Ohio's regulatory standards encourage insurers to engage in fair and transparent settlement negotiations, provide clear explanations regarding policy terms, and uphold contractual obligations to insureds. This approach supports equitable claims handling practices and reinforces insurer credibility in the marketplace. Ohio Revised Code SS 3901.19. Question 88. Surplus lines insurance claims process. What are the key components of an effective surplus lines insurance claims handling process in Ohio? A. Ignoring insured's communications to expedite claims processing. B. Timely acknowledgement of claims, thorough investigation, and fair settlement negotiations. C. Delaying claims handling to discourage insureds from pursuing claims. D. Settling claims without verifying policy coverage. Answer: B. Explanation. In Ohio, the key components of an effective surplus lines insurance claims handling process include timely acknowledgement of claims, conducting thorough investigations, and engaging in fair settlement negotiations. Insurers should promptly acknowledge receipt of claims, communicate with insureds throughout the process, and gather relevant information to assess claim validity and determine coverage under policy terms. Fair settlement negotiations involve reviewing policy provisions, evaluating damages, and reaching agreements that align with contractual obligations and regulatory requirements. Ohio's regulatory framework emphasizes efficient claims handling practices to ensure timely resolution, protect consumer interests, and uphold industry standards of professionalism and transparency. Ohio Administrative Code 3901-154. Question 89. Surplus lines insurance policy analysis. Why is it essential for insurers to interpret surplus lines insurance policy language accurately in Ohio? A. Ignoring policy language to expedite claims settlements. B. Ensuring proper coverage determination, assessing liability, and avoiding claim disputes. C. Delaying policy analysis to discourage insureds from pursuing claims. D. Offering settlements without understanding policy exclusions. Answer: B. Explanation. In Ohio, accurately interpreting surplus lines insurance policy language is essential for insurers to ensure proper coverage determination, assess liability, and avoid claim disputes. Policy language defines the scope of coverage, exclusions, and limitations that may impact claim outcomes. Insurers must analyze policy provisions, definitions, and exclusions carefully to apply terms accurately during claims handling. By interpreting policy language correctly, insurers can mitigate risks of coverage disputes, provide consistent claims decisions, and uphold contractual obligations to insureds. Ohio's regulatory standards emphasize the importance of policy analysis and accurate interpretation to promote fair and equitable claims handling practices in the surplus lines insurance market. Ohio Revised Code SS 3901.19. Question 90. Surplus lines insurance claims ethics and professionalism scenario type. MS Bailey, an insurance claims manager in Ohio, discovers discrepancies in a surplus lines insurance claim that may indicate fraud. How should MS Bailey handle this ethical dilemma? A. Ignoring the discrepancies to avoid complicating claims handling. B. Conducting a thorough investigation, documenting findings and reporting suspicions to appropriate authorities. C. Delaying communication with the insured to see if they withdraw the claim. D. Proceeding with claims settlement without verifying the insured's loss. Answer. B. Explanation. When faced with discrepancies in a surplus lines insurance claim indicating potential fraud in Ohio, MS. Bailey should conduct a thorough investigation, document findings, and report suspicions to appropriate authorities. Ethical considerations require claims professionals to uphold integrity, protect insurer assets, and prevent fraudulent activities. Reporting suspicions of fraud helps mitigate financial losses, prevent future fraudulent claims, and uphold industry credibility. Ohio's regulatory framework emphasizes ethical conduct, transparency, and accountability in claims handling to safeguard consumer interests and maintain public trust in the insurance industry. Ohio Administrative Code 3901-154